And I can't hear her because the morons of Philadelphia, all you Eagles fans, all I hear is just literally holding the horn. Like 20 cars, just holding the horn, no one moving. Guys are getting out, yelling at other guys who are honking, telling them to stop honking, but then that just creates more people honking.
Havoc and chaos.
Dude, Philadelphia, I don't know if this is an every airport thing. This might just be Philadelphia. All these Delco people that think that they're the smartest people on earth. Oh, we Super Bowl champs. Brother, you can't even get an airport to function. Let's stop this whole Super Bowl champs thing. Get your airport together, and then you can focus on next year's season.
I truly...
Unreal. This is why the Phillies are never going to win another World Series. The Flyers will never be good. Mitch Klopp's career is going to be wasted like Embiid's. It is crazy, and it's all because we can't get an airport to function. Welcome back to the B team. We got Mikey over there. We got Muller over here for the first time in a week and a half. Mike, that might be the longest we've ever spent apart from each other in the last 2.5 years.
Didn't feel right.
I love when we fuck up and then we just have to redo what we just said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's what we're doing right now because I did not click record. So
we just reiterated the same exact
We
sentence.
said the same thing. And it's so weird when we do this. But first time that we were really apart from each other. We sound like a married couple.
Maybe we are a married couple. Maybe Alexa's seat is going to be taken soon. We're going to have to vote on it. Vote between friends and her friends.
You have 1 year.
I have 1 year?
You have 1 year to make your case.
I think I could do it. I think I could do it. I think Alexa I think she's done, bro. It's just like, it's a contract that just has to, it's expiring. And I think sometimes you got to move off. You're paying a lot. You're paying that 1 year, $36 million, and you got to go for the younger guys in the draft, like myself. Grew up in Detroit, Lions fan, went to Michigan. So, just take a look. Free agency might not be the way all the time, but
I have a very, 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 very strong feeling I'm going to Stevie G this and stay at home.
Okay.
So,
okay,
all right,
fine.
But yeah, let's move on. So, obviously, we went down to Charleston. You were in Florida. What part of Florida?
Orlando,
Florida.
Orlando.
That's a big part of Florida.
Do I look tan?
Yeah, you look a little tan.
You look a little tan.
Yeah, I
mean, you got some color.
I mean, if we want to get into why I have a lot of color.
Let's do you first, and then we'll come back to my story because I have a bunch.
Yeah, because I flew down separate.
Yes.
And all I had was my backpack with my laptop, a phone charger, and a computer charger. That's all I brought.
How was TSA? They really give you
gave me such a hard time. No, dude, I had this. We can determine if I need to bleep this part out. You'll know what part I'm talking about. So I go through TSA, and they have me walk through this area where they have a dog go behind you and everything, and they're like sniffing you. So I go through that, right? And then after that moment, dude, I had this just take my bag and just put it through TSA and go, "You're good." Like that, she didn't ask what was in it. Like,
was a laptop in it?
They were all serious when I was in line, and then the moment I actually get to TSA, they're just like, "Yeah, don't worry about what's in it. Don't worry about taking a shot. Don't just go through."
Where'd you fly out of?
Philadelphia.
Wow, Philly.
Crazy.
You never think Philly would do something like that?
No. Not to mention the line to get to the TSA gate was over a mile long. And I tweeted this out a couple times. Between getting on a plane and getting through TSA, we as a nation have way too many people to not have this figured out yet. Why does it take so long, and why is there one single file line leading up to TSA? I'm sorry, but that just seems barbaric to me.
It is.
It seems barbaric. Like, we don't have 3 people at the gate working. We have so many people working. We got cops just standing around watching. Half the time, nothing goes down at the airport because everyone's scared shitless they're going to end up in federal prison.
There you go.
Why do we have people just standing around? Let's get these workers working and get them at the gate. We can open more lanes.
Even the big airports like Philadelphia and like JFK,
yes.
Dude, you should have one section of the airport that is just loaded up with TSA agents and lines out the door where it makes it so convenient where you actually don't have to show up 2 hours early to make sure that something goes wrong and I can't get on my flight. It should be an hour and 20 minutes max early. You check in, you check your bags, you go through TSA like a blink of an eye, and then you get to your gate. TSA takes the longest time. Not even waiting for your flight. Going through TSA is such a pain in the ass. I could see it with little airports like ABE, and Newark's a little.
So I want to give Charleston a shout out. Great TSA.
Great TSA.
Great TSA. It took me no more than a minute to get through.
Sanford, I got roasted. So I wore this was on the flight back from Florida to ABE, and I was wearing a Jet shirt.
The Aaron Rodgers jersey?
No, I wasn't, but I thought about it. I wore a long sleeve because, like you're going back, you plan this ahead in your mind. Like,
I did.
What's the weather going to be like when I get home? It's either going to be freezing cold or it's going to be snowing or raining.
Yeah.
It was raining. Okay, so I was 1 out of 3 there. I wore my Jets long sleeve, and I'm walking, and I'm waiting in line. There's 2 lanes. So there's one TSA agent right here in your view, and there's another over here.
Yeah.
So there was 1 line here, 1 line right behind it. And this guy's talking to the Saints fan out of all teams that we have just roasted. And he's just like, oh, yeah, like it's this typical, like my team sucks banter. And then he looks to his left, and he goes, oh, but you could be that guy. And I'm like, damn, bro.
Yeah.
It's Sanford in Orlando, Florida. I'm
That's
just
really
getting
tough.
roasted.
That's really tough.
Yeah. Dude was from Philly, by the way. The TSA agent was from Philly. So I could see why. It made sense. It just made sense.
So TSA is one thing. I know they're undermanned. Don't want to put them down enough, which is why at the bottom of my tiers of gripes I have with the airport at the moment. I texted you this last night. Guys, as a nation, you just got to be able to get on an airplane. Like, I'm sorry. The people that don't understand what zone they are or what group they're in, your ticket says it. It says Zone 1. So when they announce Zone 3, why the hell are you going up there and slowing the whole process down for everybody? It baffles me. They announce if you need like medical assistance getting on the airplane, you can now board. And you have people that look like they just like got out of the gym walking up there and they get denied. It's like, brother, are you Helen Keller?
I think it's a spiral.
What is going on right now?
I think TSA pisses them off so much where they're like, dude, I don't even care when I board because I just want to be there first in my seat. If there's one thing that I despise about airports, it's when you are on the plane and people are just taking their sweet old time. And when you get off the plane, I'm in row 26 and people are standing up right away. I'm like, where are you going? No. Where are you going? Sit the fuck down. Sit down, bro.
And this is where, like,
you feel rushed.
It drives me insane because the getting on the airplane part, the getting off the airplane part is just dumb in general because you got so many exits on this airplane. Why are we not utilizing them all? But you're getting on the airplane, right? Why do we not board back to front? Why do we have zones? Because everyone has an assigned seat anyway.
Shouldn't it be the back first?
That's what I'm saying. Because, listen, they always say, oh, but first class wants you to look at them and see, like, oh,
what's the difference?
But why would first class want us peasants breathing all over them?
Stop. My friends rode in first class, and I'd smack them if I could.
Now,
if there weren't agents there, I'd be like,
now listen, Frontier's doing something with this whole first class thing that I got to give them props for. Because, listen, I didn't get bamboozled into doing it. But
is that what you flew?
Yeah. These people that flew Frontier and got first class tickets, I feel so bad for you because it is the furthest thing from first class. There's no divider. There's no food and drink. There's no beverage.
They're just legroom. That's it.
Barely any legroom.
Oh, man.
They got bamboozled. So all these people, I'm watching them all cause a hassle because our flight got delayed. They're like, oh, do you know when the plane's going to land? The people are from Southwest. They're not even Frontier. Like, dude, we don't even know where your airplane is. And then they're getting pissed at these Southwest people. I was losing my mind at this airport, Mike. So
I could tell. They suck. No, they are the worst part of the trip.
But they're also the worst. Like, these people, they go up there, and you have the ticket on your phone. You don't know how to scan it. You don't know what zone you're in. And then you get on the plane, and you forget. You aren't competent enough to figure out that 28A is not 4B.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's not rocket science, bro. And you know what's funny? Crazy. It's one of those places that people, like, if you haven't flown a lot, you just don't know what to do. And, but Mike, there are people there to help you.
But, Mike, I did this analogy to the old guy sitting next to me because him and I were going back and forth on this.
Oh, no.
So, listen.
You flew alone? But I'm sorry. I didn't mean
I flew alone.
You didn't fly with Alexa, nothing?
No, they drove.
Oh,
crazy.
Nuts.
I would never do that.
Nope.
But I flew. sitting next to the old guy, and he's saying, he's like, yeah, but like some people, they have trouble first fight. He said the same thing as you, to which I said, when you are in kindergarten and you go to class on the first day, right? That's your first time in the classroom.
True. Yeah.
What do? You find the seat with your name on it.
That's right.
So when you get on a plane, your name is that seat.
26C.
26C. Why are you going to 24F?
I know.
It's a letter and a number. Listen, if you can't read, sure, no problems. But just make sure everyone on the flight knows. Don't be embarrassed about it. Go up to the flight attendant and ask them, oh, what number is this? Because I don't know. And what letter is that? Because I also don't know.
Like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe, like, follow, subscribe. Back to the show.
My favorite thing is
That's fine with me.
True. My favorite thing is when people like are sitting down and like the people in the row, like say there's someone sitting like right in the middle of 20B.
Yeah.
And you have the two people that have 20A and C, and they're
Yeah.
like, this is us. Like, I love the awkward like tension between them because now they got to get out. They're holding up the line. Oh, it's my favorite. I love it.
I thought a fight was going to break out in the seat behind me. Whoever sat 29A on the Frontier flight last night, 4740 from Charleston to Philadelphia. If this is you and you're listening to this somehow, brother, you got to get it together. I thought he was going to fight these people. He's on the aisle seat, so I'm against the window. I'm like ready to pass. I'm like, please just don't put someone smelly next to me. I just want to get home. And this guy behind me's got his headphones in, older fella, thicker fella, in the aisle seat.
Like definitely covering both armrests. Like he's got his arm there. He has no choice.
Oh, definitely. Mike, this guy had his leg out in the aisle as people are trying to board the plane. It was blasphemous what I was witnessing.
He's big boy.
This lady comes and goes, that seat's me. She like jumped back and goes, I'm that seat. And he goes, ugh. And like gets up. I was like, brother, what did you expect to happen? They've announced 1,000,000 times on this flight that it's a full flight.
Did they just see your weight and they were like, I feel bad. Let me just sit in the middle between him and somebody else.
But Mike, that's a guy who should just wait until the last moment to board the plane.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to get upset when other people tell you they have a seat next to you, board last.
Yeah.
Don't be the first guy on rushing on and then get upset when it's a full flight. Every seat's taken. There's people next to you.
You got at that point when you're that large, like you did it to yourself,
dude.
And you have to pay the price. Just fly first class.
I thought I was on Seinfeld last night. The amount of stuff that was occurring, and then I leave the Philadelphia airport. I go out of baggage claim. I'm just looking for the car that's going to pick me up, and I'm on the phone with my mom was picking me up. I'm on the phone with her.
The car that was picking me up, it is your mom.
Yeah. So I'm looking,
dude.
And I'm on the phone with her. And I can't hear her because the morons of Philadelphia, all you Eagles fans, all I hear is just literally holding the horn. Like 20 cars, just holding the horn, no one moving. Guys are getting out, yelling at other guys who are honking, telling them to stop honking. But then that just creates more people honking.
Havoc and chaos.
Dude. Philadelphia, I don't know if this is an every airport thing. This might just be Philadelphia. All these Delco people that think that they're the smartest people on earth. Oh, we Super Bowl champs. Brother, you can't even get an airport to function. Let's stop this whole Super Bowl champs thing. Get your airport together, and then you can focus on next year's season.
I truly
Unreal. This is why the Phillies are never going to win another World Series. The Flyers will never be good. Mitch Klopp's career is going to be wasted like Embiid's. It is crazy, and it's all because we can't get an airport to function.
I think there needs to be a study of like mental health when people arrive at airports. Like I swear to God, I feel like once you arrive at airports, people immediately, something just switches in their mind, immediately become assholes and just get pissed off immediately. I swear to God, I've never seen somebody happy at an airport besides when you're on a golf trip to Florida and you arrive in Sanford. Like that is the only time I've seen people happy.
Listen, obviously every time you arrive to the location of your
you're like relieved, but you're still pissed.
Relieved, but you have a little like pep in your step. Here, I'm going to give you the blueprint on how to be happy at the airport, and then we can move on to our actual trips. The blueprint to be happy at any airport. You walk in, you get there early so you don't give a shit about TSA. You get through TSA. You don't put that pocket knife in your bag so you don't get caught, right? You just go straight through. Perfect start.
Okay.
All right? Now, if you're there in the morning, here's what you do. You're early, remember? So you got like an hour and a half until
what do you
board,
do? There's
right?
two options.
You walk all the way to your gate. I don't care if it's close or far. You walk to the gate and you say, oh, there's my gate. Sweet. And now that part is done. There's no stress.
The to-do list is
you know
over.
exactly how long it's going to take you to get there from every point on this trip.
When they're boarding.
Now, before you even take a seat, you spin that train around and you go and find, if it's the morning, you go find a coffee.
A coffee, okay.
And then you get whatever food you want. Doesn't matter. As long as you get the coffee.
Now
you get the coffee because you got to get the jitters going.
Now we're two different people, though.
Up.
We're two different people.
Sure.
Some people are going to the bar. I drank a Stella at 5 in the morning. I never thought I'd do that.
That's fine, too.
Okay.
But I think it's a coffee or a beer.
Okay, yeah.
One of those two great morning beverages plus,
I will add something
A small treat. That's breakfast.
Okay.
Because you can't be blowing up the plane.
You know what I think?
That sounds horrible. But people know what I mean. People know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I think
taking a shit.
Okay, taking a shit.
Yeah.
Taking a shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
just
for
the people that don't know.
But if it's noon or later, 100% you go get a beer. You go get some type of alcohol.
Yeah.
And you get whatever type of fast food you want. And then you go back, you sit down, you plug your phone in so it doesn't die. Mine died. Terrible. Funny though. But then you go back, you plug your phone in, and you just wait. You eat your food, you drink your drinks, and you wait.
I know a lot of people that. So the group that I went with, I'll get into we'll still get into yours. Last thing on freaking flying, and this is my first time taking a golf bag too, so that was something.
Yeah.
But a lot of the guys that I went on the trip with, for their comfort on an airplane, because I struggle with planes. The only plane that I did not struggle with was when Panayoti and I went to Greece and we flew Delta, because Delta, comfy seats, movies, you're not thinking about how uncomfortable you are sitting down. Mm-hmm. The flight to Florida and the flight home, I was in the aisle seat. I picked the aisle seat on purpose, but still, I just could not get comfortable. Again, I'm a 6'3", 250-pound dude. Like, it is hard for me to get comfortable. I cannot ever sleep on a plane, ever. It's impossible for me.
I don't know is this a hot take, but I think the aisle seat is the worst seat on an airplane.
I think the middle seat is the worst by far. I cannot. Well, you're tall too.
I
but
think that's up there.
I like the aisle seat because I can at least rest my head to the right, and I will not be leaning on somebody.
But that's where the window seat's fantastic.
But I feel like I'm crammed in and I can't move.
Nah.
And it's like I gotta go take a piss. It's like now I feel like an asshole because I gotta get these guys to get up and I gotta go take a piss.
But think about it. To get to that window seat, you're making all these people stand up. You have that moment where they're up in the air to assert your dominance and get your leg room. Mm-hmm. If you're not taking that, 1, you're soft, and 2, you're just dumb.
I did have my right leg out, but then the cart, the flight attendants would come.
There you
and
go.
They
that's
tap
another
me on
negative.
the knee, and I'm like,
that's another negative. You're on the window, no one bothers you.
So the way I usually sleep is I will put down the tray, which is another negative because they're like, trays up, please. Yep. I will put down the tray and I'll cradle my head. And it is just so uncomfortable. No matter where I fly. Dude, the old man Pops, he will go. He's so funny. Anytime we're on a plane, he will get up right when the plane takes off. He will get up. He will go all the way back and hang out with the flight attendants. He does that every single flight, and they let him. They don't say a word. I think he starts out, he's like, oh, I'm a 9/11 fireman. And they're just like, yeah, take a seat here. Take my seat. I swear to God. But I hate flying so much. And it's crazy to say that the most comfortable flight I've been on was 12 to 13 hours to Greece from JFK.
Yeah.
That was the most comfortable flight I've been on. That is a 12 to 13 hour flight.
Was fantastic.
I can't even get comfortable for a 2 hours and 15 minutes flight. I was struggling.
But those planes are so much bigger, though.
Yes.
You do have a little bit. It's not much more legroom, but you do have a little bit more.
They have 2 rows,
and you can stretch out. And when you're up in the air for so long, you have a little.
They're usually not
you
full.
can move around.
Yes.
They're not full, but you have room for activity there.
But my point was, I know some guys that will. I don't know if I could say this on the podcast, but they'll maybe take a melatonin or a Xanax.
I feel like you
and
could
they
definitely say that.
They are so happy. When they get off the flight because they just pass out half the time. And I just don't want to take that stuff. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to find an alternative where I could just somehow pass out because it is, for me also, oh my God, my head and my ears, when I get off a plane, I can't hear a thing. So I hold my nose and I blow so hard and I almost make myself pass out every single time because my ears are so clogged. I can't hear nothing ever. It's crazy. I know. I just don't know why it happens all the time. They're like, oh, chew gum. I'm like, it doesn't help. Never.
I don't have a response for that.
All right. Let me get into my trip now. I want to tell you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, by the way, Charleston, fantastic.
Charleston.
All right, go ahead.
So that was your first time there?
Yeah.
Okay. So I had a little 2-week vacation because I just left a job. I am now starting a new job. That's where I got this MacBook. Very nice. The first week there's my card. The first week I went to Orlando. So me and my buddy Tom, shout out to you, my man. BSG, if you're listening, Sketchy Joe. Group of 12 of us, we go down to Orlando. We had 3 houses each. So I'm roomed up with Tom, his dad, and his dad's friend, LSG, the man. We played 4 golf courses down there, I believe. 4. So we did Shingle Creek was the first one. Hawks Landing was the second one. Orange Lake was the third. And Grand Cypress. So 5. I'm sorry. Grand Cypress was the 4th, and Falcons Fire was the 5th.
Yep.
This is my first ever golf trip. I had so much fun. Every single day. So we had really early tee times. For like the first day was like 9 o'clock tee time. Second was 8. And then the third, I think it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Like we were up and at it. Like from 6 o'clock a.m. we were up, got there early, and we would just golf all day. Some rounds we would play another 18. So 36 holes. I think we did it twice. The difference of conditions, I know you told me this all the time, but like even the first course, which wasn't even the nicest course, it was beautiful. Mm-hmm. But like there were 2 other courses that were just I felt like I was on a PGA course.
It's just a different level.
I felt like I was on the PGA tour. There were some where like I would swing and I would make a divot and it felt like I was cutting into butter. Mm-hmm. And the ball was just taking off. It was flying. The greens were spectacular on some courses. But my God, just what an experience. And I will be there next year. Like I loved it so much where first off, if none of you guys have ever taken a golf trip, I highly, highly recommend doing it with your buddies. You can get 6 of your guys. You can get 4 of your guys. As long as you just try it. Because I paid a hefty little price. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst. I mean, everything included between golfing and lodging, probably around $1,700. Everything else was spending money. So between renting a car, Ubers, food, drinking, doing other extracurriculars that I'm not going to mention, like you're gonna pay a little bit, but it doesn't matter when you're on a vacation like that. Like it is just so much fun. You just want to do everything. And as a rookie, that on the trip I was the newbie, I couldn't say no. Whether it be a shot of freaking Fireball when it's 88 degrees out, freaking God knows so many other things, strip clubs, like it just so many things.
I feel like you said in other things that I can't mention. I feel like
you wouldn't even think about it, bro.
But I feel like strip clubs should have been in that.
Yeah, sorry. So
that was a crazy.
But
one to
listen, the casino is the same exact thing, just with a little different attributes to it.
Yeah,
but
I don't know, Mike. I think if you said casino, that's a little different.
Yes, but yes, okay, fair. But
I don't know how
you're spending this. Money. You're spending money regardless at whatever you're going, whether it be the club or the casino.
Oh,
yeah, you're spending money.
Oh,
but anyways,
spending money, eh?
Anyways, yes, you're spending money. We would do. So the second day we played an amazing course. I think I sent you pictures or you looked it up.
Yeah.
Pictures don't even do it justice. Yep. The third day, when we played at Orange Lake, I shot 96. Wrote in my book. We were like, yo, screw this course. Let's play another 18. Let's go back to Hawks Landing. We play Hawks Landing. Next day, we go to Grand Cypress, which was unbelievable. Water everywhere. We saw a bunch of gators. We played that twice. Like, the weather was great. I think the only time it rained was the second time we played Grand Cypress. So the second 18 round, it rained on us the 16th hole going on the 17th. And after that, we didn't care. But my God, it was so much fun. All day from 6 o'clock when we're waking up until 10 at night. It was wake up, eat something quick, golf all day, shower, go home, shower, sleep, repeat. It flew, the worst part about that trip was it flew by so fast.
Yep.
It flew by so fast. I mean, you've been on golf trips before. They just go by so fast, and it sucks. Because I was there for 5 days.
Because the round takes up so much time that you don't realize how much time is actually passing.
Yes,
yeah.
And you're just having such a good time. Mm-hmm. So, all in all, if you ever go, you're going to enjoy it. Look up some good places. Don't be cheap. There are so many beautiful golf courses out in this country. Florida, Texas, even Virginia's got some. We're thinking about going to Nevada next year, Arizona. Like, there's just so many nice courses. Amazing time. We got amazing food while we were there, and then now back home, and we're back at it. So it's good to be back. I don't want to take too much time, but the golf trip just sold it. I didn't know what to expect, and I couldn't say no. Like, there was no way I wasn't going back to the apartment or the house. Why would I go back to the house? Like, I'm here. I'm with the guys. They want to keep playing. Some of the guys were older, so they couldn't really go out and play another round. I'm like, you know what? I'm here. When am I ever going to do this again? Yes, I'm going to play another 18. We're drinking. We're doing birdie shots. I did have one birdie also. I had multiple chances for birdie. Dude, I cooked up. It was great. So now let's talk about your trip. I took 4 there.
We don't got to get in mine.
I kind of want to.
It was good.
I feel it was good.
Yeah. Yeah. First day I got dropped off, sat down at a bar, had some drinks, got some barbecue, was there by myself for the entire day. Went to the beach, realized I forgot sunscreen. Couldn't find anywhere to get sunscreen. Felt awkward coming up to random families asking for sunscreen.
Wow. Bold move.
So did not do that. Didn't do that because that would be weird. So
I don't think it would be.
So, but I went.
Nice.
I guess, but I think it's a little weird. Like, a guy comes up to you with a backpack. No, he doesn't really have a bathing suit on. You know what I mean?
Doesn't have a bathing suit on? Were you butt naked?
No, I just had shorts on.
Oh, okay.
You know, like, but
Were you wearing Vans on the beach too?
No, absolutely not.
Okay, I was about to
That's
say that was gonna roast you. And the wedding was good.
Sunny the whole time. Yeah, wedding was.
Were
great.
you sweating your nuts off in that wedding?
No, actually, I was very surprised.
Really?
I was cool, calm, collected. Looked great.
You did look good, man. I saw the pics. I'm like, okay, guys, I see you. Nice start.
All right, let's get into. We just talked for 30 minutes on our trips.
Is that where we're at right now?
Yep. So
all right.
Let's get into the football.
So let me take the lead here. So now we have about 3 divisions left. Now is going to be 2 after this. We saved the best for last. Obviously, the NFC East and then the AFC East for me and Muller here. But we have one more, and it's a very important division for this year upcoming. There's a lot of uncertainty with really who's going to be the winner because there's a lot of moving pieces, essential pieces. You got the Lions, obviously. You have the Bears, you have the Packers, and then you have the Vikings. So we'll start out with the Vikings here. Obviously, they moved off of Sam Darnold. It was going to happen. There was going to be no deal in the place of it, but. My thoughts on the Vikings here, and then I will kind of give you the floor and see what you have to think. I think they're still in a very good position, and I actually think they could get better, but it all really depends on J.J. McCarthy. Like, what kind of J.J. McCarthy are we going to see? I feel like at Michigan, we kind of knew what he was, game manager, doesn't really, can hit receivers at times. I mean, you watched Michigan. You knew what J.J. was, but I think they're missing a couple of key pieces that could really help them. I think the secondary is one of them. So their 4 cornerbacks this past season are all on expiring contracts. The only one is Byron Murphy Jr., who was re-signed. So they brought in Isaiah Rodgers. They brought in Jeff Okudah. So you have guys that a lot of teams see potential in, but Jeff Okudah's been around the league a lot. Isaiah Rodgers, we don't really know yet what he's going to bring to the table. But I think that is one position of need that they really need, and they have to emphasize that, especially in the draft. But they have an interesting pick, so they're at 24. And you could tell with all of these teams that are on the back end of the draft, they're looking for DNs. You're looking like as the Eagles lost a bunch of guys. Of course, they're getting signed elsewhere. The Chiefs, I mean, they're looking for a DN as well. The Bills, there are a lot of these really good teams right now that need a guy that can pass rush and at least solidify the edge. So I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be in contention for an edge. They did sign Jonathan Allen, Javon Hargrave, and Harrison Phillips, so they're good on the interior side. But I think a DN is really intriguing for them at that pick. There are going to be a lot of guys that, they have potential. You don't really know. The numbers might not have been there throughout college. But I was doing some research here, and it seems like that could be a potential trade back pick. But I feel like that would kind of flip the narrative on why would they do that when you have such a young quarterback that has never had an NFL snap in the regular season? You kind of want to surround him immediately, and I feel like it's not really a good time to rejuvenate the picks. So I think they should just take somebody, whether it be an edge, whether it be another lineman, or some type of safety or cornerback, which could excel this team to at least just be built around JJ in a good way where he's not struggling. And I listen, they're going to be a good team. They still have all these star players. Maybe they could use another receiver, maybe day 2 or day 3. I think they have 4 picks, so I believe pick 97 would be their second pick. So that's more so a day 3 pick. They can get a guy there. At least it's just from depth purposes. But
they just got to get a number 3.
Yeah, especially on offense, that's really all they need. If TJ Hawkinson could come back and be that guy that he used to be, he's not old. He's just had injury issues. So if they could come back, if they could run the system around JJ like they did for Sam, I think they're in contention for the playoffs again.
We're talking about a 14-3 Vikings team who was in the toughest division to win in football this past year, and they did it all behind and on the back of a decently average quarterback for, like, let's be honest.
Yeah, I know.
A decently average quarterback,
I'll be
in Sam
realistic.
Darnold. And now you're going to add basically a younger version of Sam Darnold to that mix who can probably move better than Sam Darnold. And he's proven to be a very good game manager. When he was at Michigan, he wasn't the guy that was supposed to go out there and be Lamar Jackson. He wasn't going out there and being Cam Ward. He was just being J.J. McCarthy, get my ball to my weapons. I have a good running back. Vikings have a good running back. I have good wide receivers. Vikings have good wide receivers. I think that this team can easily pick right back up where they left off. I mean, they're 14-3. Going to be tough to repeat that. It's tough to repeat that for any team. There's only a few teams in
they will not
the
be
history of
repeating it. There's
football
no
that
way.
could repeat those seasons over and over and over again. And when you look at those teams, they have absolute legends at quarterback. So in this division, yeah, the Detroit Lions went 15-2. I don't think they do it again because I think Jared Goff is in the same category as some of these guys. They're just in the middle, right? He's got a lot of great weapons, but now can the Lions keep this momentum going? I don't know. They lost a lot of coaches this year. I know we'll probably get into it in a bit.
Yeah, let's wait on them.
But I like where the Vikings are at. I think for a lot of personalities on ESPNs, your Foxes, these sports shows, I think a lot of people aren't talking about the Vikings as much as they should. I think a lot of the conversation is around JJ, and that's only a little bit of conversation. But this conversation should be about the whole team.
Yeah.
Right? This is a very good team. That defense had probably a bad 2 weeks, and really wasn't even that bad, but it was just like 2 weeks that this team just was bad of the whole season. When you look at the whole season, they weren't bad. They even in their losses, they really weren't bad.
Yeah.
So I think we should be very slow to judge them on their last couple games.
And they lost a really key piece that I thought excelled the whole season in Cameron Bynum, the safety. He is now on the Indianapolis Colts. That dude is a dog. One last thing before we move on here. JJ is going to go through a lot of growing pains, and he's not going to, for the Vikings fans, Christian, if you're listening, he's not going to go in, and I don't think he's not just going to light it up right off the bat. He's going to get baited a lot. He's going to get baited a lot by the defensive schemes. He's going to get baited a lot by the cornerbacks. He's going to try to look off safeties. The safeties are going to play chess with him. It's hitting. It's just playing smart, and I think that is where he's going to excel the most, because if he's going to be taking deep shots if Justin Jefferson or Addison are completely wide open and they took the top over the safeties. And that is really it. But I don't really think he's that type of quarterback where he's really throwing deep bombs downfield. He's very smart. He hits his players. But that also, it's vulnerable at times where you're pulling off defensive tackles. You're having rovers kind of play some type of weird position where they're reading him. So it's going to be I'm not saying it's all going to be on him, but he can't start out slow. He's got to look good the first one of the first 2 weeks. He has to look good, like he could handle it, because again, the Vikings took a big gamble after what Sam Darnold brought to the table and what they did. I'm not saying he's got to replicate it, but I think the playoffs, they're attainable, and I think they can do it.
I think J.J. McCarthy's basement is Sam Darnold of last season, and I think his ceiling is a more athletic Tom Brady. Is that crazy to think?
No.
Because when you look at him play and you watch his game film, I mean, he hasn't played an NFL regular season snap yet.
Yes. And I think that's why. We just don't know yet.
Yeah, and I think that's where all the uncertainty comes from.
Yes.
I still believe in that statement, though. Like, Sam Darnold of last year, he's capable of doing that. But then down the line with the weapons he has and the way he plays, I think his ceiling is a more athletic Tom Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that might not equate to winning as many Super Bowls, which Tom Brady was fantastic at, like we all know. But I think he's capable of playing to that level of football.
And I agree with you because the system is going to be the same. Kevin O'Connell's not moving for a long time. If he puts up seasons like he did last year and he does some type of similar season where he makes the playoffs, they're above 500, JJ watched and he learned. And now he's just got to put it into action. He wasn't rushed into anything. The Vikings organization handled that super, super well, where now he has a step ahead of a lot of guys. Look at Justin Fields. He's going into a completely new system with new head coaches, new weapons. Like, he's going to struggle. Like, he will struggle, but he also will have really good games. JJ doesn't have to worry about that. He knows the system. He's been in it a year now. He's been studying. He's learned. He has Kevin O'Connell behind his back. He's going to be fine. Again, he's going to have some bad games. Sam Darnold had a couple bad games, but JJ's going to be fine, and it's just going to take time with him. I think they make the playoffs again. So that will move us over to the Detroit Lions. Now, they only lost a couple of players in free agency, but they are bringing back a lot of players, especially on the offensive side. They are losing. They lost Tim Patrick. I think Khalif Raymond's still going to be there, but I still think they're elite, and I don't think that's going to be an issue. I do, however, think a wide receiver 3 could be used in day 2 or 3, and I think they need to start addressing the interior O-line. I think guys like Tyler Booker, if he falls that far, would be a really good pick, and I think Gray Zabel would be a nice pick, especially a guy from North Dakota. Probably has probably watched a lot of either Minnesota Viking football or Detroit Lion football. You got to build that interior up. That line is really good, and you got to protect Jared Goff. One interesting thing too, because they lost Kevin Zeitler as well, so that's why they got to fill the position. I think a DN wouldn't be a bad idea. Again, like I said this before, I think the back end teams with really good records at the back end of the draft, they're looking for a guy who can play alongside an Aiden Hutchinson, play alongside a Josh Sweat or someone for the Bears. I think with Zadarius Smith being there, he's on a short-term deal. You got to have someone who's young and can at least learn behind him and Aiden Hutchinson, because the defense, again, you saw it against Washington. They got lit up. They gave up 40 points in them almost. So I think they'll be fine. I think they will take a step back, but I still think they'll be a dominant force in the NFC, especially the NFC North. Like, I could see them winning it again. I know you said about Jared Goff, like he kind of fits that realm of quarterbacks. I still think if he is just protected, he could be very, very good like he was last year.
And that's what
that's all
what we
really
say about
is.
these guys, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you these guys are in the NFL for a reason. Mm-hmm. And if it's kind of like what we say about golfers. If the conditions are no wind, sunny, no clouds, and it's a little damp, they'll run the course.
Yes.
They'll run the course over. If these quarterbacks get protection and they have really good weapons, they will win the football game. Mm-hmm. The way the NFL is now and the way that quarterbacks are protected, they will win the football game. Now,
what you said, too, is why I think they do take a slight step back. Like, I could see like an 11-6 season. They lost a lot of staff. And that is their biggest downfall right now. It's not even the players, it's the staff, because Aaron Glenn's a Jet. Tanner Angstrad's a Jet. You have a lot of other guys. I think the one tight end coach is gone. I think he's on the Rams now. Like, they lost a lot of fundamental pieces within that organization that I don't know if Dan Campbell can translate from what Ben Johnson taught him and from what Aaron Glenn taught him to now where they're going to be at, because they have a lot of new hires in. They have a lot of new guys trying. Are they going to replicate the same system like Ben Johnson? It's going to be really tough the way he called games. What kind of system are they going to run? Are they going to run the ball out with David Montgomery? Are they going to use Jahmyr Gibbs as much as they can? Are they going to not let Jared Goff throw the ball? I don't know. I don't know where and how this offense is going to look like, but it's going to be if there's one thing interesting about this division, besides, again, we didn't get into the Bears and the Packers yet, it's what is this offense going to look like? Because the offense that we saw the last 2 years was fun. Hook and ladders, reverse passes, Jamison Williams. Like, it was fun to watch, and it was things that we've never seen, fake fumbles. Like, that was just so outside of the box, critical thinking from Ben Johnson. I don't know if we see the same. I mean, that he got hired from the Bears to the Bears for a reason. So that's what's going to intrigue me the most about that team. But I still think they're going to have a shot at the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. And, it's tough because when you look at these teams, there's only a few teams that have been very dominant
Mm-hmm.
over a 5-year period. And is Detroit good enough to be that dominant over a 5-year period? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of it has to go back to the quarterback. And, Jared Goff, I don't know why I can't get myself to buy into him. Like, you've bought into him.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't get myself to buy into him. Like, I watch him play, and every time I just picture him being like the fun uncle handing it off to all of his really athletic new nephews. That's all I see him doing. And I don't know. I think Detroit comes in third place.
He's I feel like he's on the path of Kirk Cousins, where Kirk, when he was in Washington,
Yeah.
and he was being a dog, moving around a little bit more, accurate, smart decision making. Jared Goff is on that same path because he's pretty much the exact same quarterback.
I just
not
think it's
very
gonna catch
mobile.
up to him.
It will, how it is with Kirk. I think Jared Goff still has so much left in the tank, though, where, again, he's got a really good line. He's accurate. He's smart. He knows who to target. He knows how to pick apart zones. That's what I really enjoyed watching from Jared Goff was his IQ on the field, being a quarterback. It wasn't taking risky throws. It was finding the right guy because, again, you got Sam Laporta, who had a bad year. Imagine him having a good year again. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You have Jameson Williams. You have 3 guys that play way different roles. Amon-Ra is going to be your security blanket. Laporta is going to be your physical security blanket. Jameson Williams, man, you got to guard him because, again, he's taking a safety over top in a cornerback. There are going to be open spots on the field that Jared Goff could just pick you apart at. So, but again, I just think with the system that is different now, I just don't know if it's going to be the same. And I'm not saying they're going to be bad, but it's going to be different. And there's going to be some struggles at times, but that's my thing. If you want to talk about being dominant for a long time, you usually have stability. You usually keep guys like that. And losing a guy like Ben Johnson, who was easily the best coach on the market, losing a guy like him, there's going to be change in place and there's going to be growing pains. So, yeah.
I agree with you. I'm looking at who they're playing right now.
And they're going to have a tough schedule.
I'm struggling to figure out how they even come close to what they did last year. Because their home games, sure. Let's say they split with the division, right? Let's say they split Chicago, split Green Bay, split Minnesota, right? So 3-3 off the bat. Then you got Dallas, gonna beat the Giants probably. You're gonna beat Cleveland probably beat Pittsburgh. All right, so we got 6 wins, and then Tampa Bay, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
And then on the road, you got Washington, you got the Eagles, you got Cincinnati, you got Baltimore, you got Kansas City, and you got the Rams.
So they play the NFC East and the AFC North. That's tough.
And the Rams and Kansas City.
Yep.
It's
the Fillers.
That's just a brutal schedule. I'm struggling to see how they even compete to win the division.
Yeah, listen, the division is getting better, which brings me to my next point. The Bears. The Bears. They have Ben Johnson now. They have Caleb. They have Rome Odunze. They have DJ Moore. Keenan Allen, is he going to come back? I don't know. But I got to give Ryan Poles credit here because he loaded up on defense and the O-line drastically. He drastically improved on both sides. They signed 3 O-linemen. They brought a lot of guys in from defense via free agency. So he made a lot of very good moves. What's interesting about the Bears right now is number 10 pick in the draft. Pick 10 is intriguing because they have a lot of options to do. They can either they can make a trade up for Ashton Genty. They would do it. They have the capital. They could, if they want him so badly. He's not dropping to 10. That is clear. He will not fall to 10.
Okay.
They will have to trade up either 7 or above because now the Jets are apparently in contention for Ashton Genty. Don't get me started on that. We'll wait another couple weeks. But they're losing. They just lost Braxton Jones. No, I forget. But they need a left tackle. They need a left tackle. They address the interior. They need a left tackle. What do they do? Are they do they take a tight end? Do they trust Cole Kmet? Is Cole Kmet going to finally take that jump we've been waiting for? He's been in the league for a long time.
He is the worst fantasy player.
He is the worst fantasy player. He had his moments though with Justin Fields. Does he like him enough where you could settle for Cole Kmet and you could pass up on a tight end and pick 10? Do you get a guy like Will Campbell who seems to be falling down the draft boards a little bit? Do you go for Armin Membu if he falls? If Tet McMillan's there, are you going to take him? Do you want to load up on receivers for Caleb Williams? Like, they have so many options at pick 10. And I just think it has to be offense. And whatever they do, I think is going to be the right move. I think if somehow Ashton Genty falls, like he is an immediate bear, bam, you win. Because DeAndre Swift had a down year. He played terribly this year. It's probably the worst year of his career. So I think, again, the defense got so much better. I really am very excited. Even last year I was really excited to see what Caleb Williams was going to show. I think he could be a top 10 quarterback this year, especially with Ben Johnson. I really believe so.
No, I agree with that. I think Ben Johnson's going to get that offense going in a new direction that Chicago fans haven't seen
in a long time.
I think they have some weapons. I think the defense is capable of playing when they aren't, mocking fans. Let's think. Last year, before that Washington game, Chicago was making a little bit of noise. Let's not act like they were bad.
Yes,
they were making a little bit of noise. They were right in it with this division at that point. And then after that moment, I think they just fell back into that laughing stock category, and they just couldn't figure out how to get into games or find wins. Or Eberflus just kept messing up in some way, shape, or form. I mean, let's look at the Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, against the Lions.
I don't know what was going on in his head there, but that was absolutely terrible.
That's been their downfall. Was management.
And I think that they finally have someone that can manage a football game, can run an offense. So I think the Bears are someone to watch out on as a dark horse, kind of like the Washington Commanders were this year. I don't see them. I don't see them getting to an AFC championship, or not NFC championship like the Washington Commanders did. But I see them making a playoff push.
I do too. And like when you talk about dark horse, like Washington was that dark horse last year. Like we talked about the Bears last year, pretty much the same conversation. Like, hey, like they got a lot of good guys. They got Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, Swift. Like they could make a push, but we didn't see that. But I truly believe this year, again, this is going to be one of probably the most competitive division in the league. I think the NFC East it's going to be them in the NFC East. I mean, I really think the Bears with Ben Johnson now and that because the offense was their worst. That was the biggest problem. It was their biggest problem. And you get a guy like him coming in and teaching Caleb the right way, making good decisions. I think they can actually make a push and shock a lot of people. I don't think it's going to be, they can make a push, but they finish 7-10. Like I think they can go 10-7. I think they can reach the 9-10 win mark and sneak into a wild card. Maybe the division, if the Lions can't get it together, or the Vikings, JJ's not having it. Like this is the year for them to solidify themselves as, we're tired of being the laughing stock of the NFC and the whole league. We're tired of, not having an offense. This is the year where I think they make a jump. Again, they'll struggle too because of the new system. Caleb will throw bad picks, but I think they can do it. The defense really got so much better that the offense will have their opportunities when it comes from takeovers, turnovers on downs, the whole nine. So they'll be fun.
Can I make a suggestion to Chicago?
Yeah.
All right. We got to stop doing this whole alternate uniform thing. If you want to be great, let's be great in our home uniform. Let's go dark blues, or we go white, blue, white.
The dark blues.
Let's stop this whole we're going to throw all orange on bullshit. Like it's not Halloween. Let's be professional here. Ben Johnson, you talk about being professional, coming and doing your job. Enough. I know you're allowed to wear your alternate jersey 4 times this year. Crazy. But let's not do it. Let's not do it. For once, let's just not do it.
The dark blues are too crisp. You got to wear them at all costs.
Wear them every game. Figure out a way to wear them every game, even if the other team's
great.
In dark blue. How many teams wear dark blue in this league?
Maybe the Chargers.
Maybe, but that would be an alternate, right?
Panthers? No, because they're light blue and black.
Yeah.
Texans are dark blue.
Okay, Texans would be. But do they play the Texans?
No. I don't know.
No, they won't.
No, if they play the AFC South, yes, but not off the top of my head.
No, because they're in the same division as the.
But that's it for the Navies. I believe so. I can't think of any others.
Wear all navy every game. Navy, and then the white with navy socks.
Seattle has some shades of navy, correct?
But they won't play.
Okay.
Because we're still in the same division as the Lions.
You're right.
Yeah.
Packers time?
Yes. I have something to say about the Packers.
I
have something.
Show me it.
Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers in year 5 had phenomenal seasons, 11-plus wins. Brett Favre went 13-3, went to the Super Bowl, dominated, won. Aaron Rodgers came up one drive short of going to a Super Bowl in year 5. Should have won. Should have went to the Super Bowl. Probably would have won the Super Bowl. Jordan Love is going to follow suit. He's going to make it to the NFC Championship, and we're going to see a Jordan Love Super Bowl, and he's going to lose probably to Joe Burrow or Patrick
Damn
Mahomes.
it, bro.
But that's where I'm at with this Packers team. I'm following the trend. The Packers are a team that you look at them and nothing really shoots out at you. You just picture the Packers, right? Consistently, averagely great. That's what the Packers are. They got Lambeau Field. They got the historical uniforms. They got Jordan Love at quarterback. He's just consistently very good, top 10 quarterback in the league. And every year it's the same thing. Do they have the weapons? Do they have this? Do they have that? Well, now they got Josh Jacobs. Their defense is still solid. Can they get these weapons around Jordan Love to step up and be great this year? I think they can. And if they do that, if you look at last year, Packers really should have done a lot better. They really should have done a lot better. Of all these teams, I know I said, the Vikings, weren't bad, but they weren't great. The Chicago Bears were really better than they really were. No, the Green Bay Packers, I said this during the season last year, even when the Lions were running away with it, the Vikings were running away with it, I still thought the Packers were the best football team in that division, and I'm standing by it. I think they come back this year, and Jordan Love has a career year. I think he goes 13 wins. I think he goes 13-4, and I think they make the playoffs as a 1 or 2 seed. And I think they make the NFC Championship game.
I hate that you said that because I was ready to just bash them, but now
stats you're welcome to bash them.
Stats like that, I'm like, damn.
You're
Mueller
5.
found it. Mueller found it. But all right, ready? I'm
ready. Yeah, come.
This was interesting that I found.
For Stephen A.
So ready? If you want a hint of where the Packers may invest in the draft, peek at the 2026 depth chart. 2 receivers, 2 in their final year. 2 edge rushers, one in the final year. 3 defensive tackles, 2 in their final year.
This is for next year?
2026, yes.
Oh, so all you're describing is this the last ride.
4 cornerbacks, 3 in the final year. Jair, where does he go? 5 O-linemen, 1 in final year. Jenkins probably going to be gone. So if you want to talk about the draft right now.
All I'm hearing, Mike, we can get into the draft in a second, but all I'm hearing is this is the last ride with this group of players.
Yes.
That is screaming Super Bowl run to me. Give me all of this.
That might just solidify your argument.
I think you just boosted my argument.
Yes.
I think Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers are your Super Bowl champions of the next season.
I will say I thought it said 2025, so that is on me. But that is absolutely on me. I will say this. So now they have a late pick as well. They're going to be in the 20s. I think right off the bat, bad reading on my part, terrible research, man. That's probably the Onion posting this. The wide receiver, and you know what? We had this conversation back in the day. I was wrong. You were right. I thought Jaden Reed, Christian Watson, and Dobbs were solid guys.
Yeah.
Man, we didn't see anything. Christian Watson, bust.
I told you.
Bust.
I told you.
Bust. He's garbage, hot garbage. They need a guy like Burden or Igbuka. If they just get one of those guys, because Jaden Reed is probably a low-end wide receiver 1. He solidifies the wide receiver 1. Dobbs is a solid wide receiver 2. When he gets going, he's a very solid receiver. They need a slot. And Luther Burden or Emeka Egbuka fits what the Packers need so badly. And where they're going to be I think one of those guys is going to be available. I see them trading up because I think Luther will get picked first, and he'll get picked around 17 and 19 is my guess. Egbuka's going to be the only one there. If they really want a Matt Golder and Isaiah Bond, sure, you could probably get him at wherever you're standing at. But if you want the 3rd best receiver in the draft, it's Emeka Egbuka, and you're going to have to trade up for him because teams are needy for receiver, and you need a guy like him.
So Egbuka's actually visiting the Green Bay Packers on a 2-day visit right now.
There you go.
And I think that's a great pickup for them. I think
solidified.
I don't even know if they'll have to trade up
Solidified.
for that because of the teams that are going to be picking before them. I think he could easily be there local, if you want to call it local. Ohio State, kind of local, kind of close to it.
Right over.
It's cold there.
Yeah,
it's cold
over
in
the
Green
lake.
Bay.
Be fine.
But they have to replace Christian Watson. I think the other two, you can get away with it. They have great games.
Jaden Reed showed potential. I think he showed real. I mean, last year he came alive. I think this year he was electric and then kind of fell off. Jordan Love got injured. They just really weren't connecting after that. And Dobbs is solid. He's a good wide receiver 2 to have.
Yes, and I think Josh Jacobs' comments in the offseason were taken out of context. Not out of context, but taken in the wrong way. Green Bay has a very good wide receiver group.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with it is that only one of them ever shows up on game day.
They're all the same type of player, though. That's my thing, and that's exactly
but
why.
You need at least two of them to be able to catch a football. When
Yes.
it's only one guy getting over 50 yards and the other two, lucky if they get 25. It should never be like that if we're going to be an elite football team. Look at Detroit. Look at the Vikings. The games that Vikings lost, Addison had like 10 yards, ruined my parlays. You just got to have at least two guys. Even the Cowboys, at the end of the season when they were making that little run, who stepped up? Tolbert.
Mm-hmm.
He was getting like 50, 60 yards a game while CD was getting 115.
Yep.
You need that second piece. T. Higgins to your Jamar Chase. You got your Devontae Smith to your A.J. Brown.
And
these elite teams have that second piece. And it doesn't have to be this elite guy. It just has to be a guy that you can trust to get open 3 to 4 times a game and give you 30 to 50 yards.
And I think that was their issue, too, is because a lot of, the guys you just mentioned, we'll go for the Vikings right here. Justin Jefferson, he's your prototypical wide receiver one, could do everything, can run routes, can catch, can make contested catches, can separate. I feel like the Packers don't have that. They have too many guys that are super similar. Jaden Reed can separate, but he kind of relies on speed. Romeo Doubs is more of a, somewhat contested catch. They all have the similar physiques. Christian Watson, what was his role? What was his specialty? They were all similar. Get a guy like a slot receiver like Egbuka or Luther Burden, and that just completely changes the outlook of your offense. Because, again, you have guys that could separate with speed, and you can maybe use those guys to run downfield and run, obviously, a go route. You got to put a little bit more emphasis on your creativity of the offense. And Matt LaFleur, I'm not saying he's not creative because I think he's a brilliant coach. I just think the players that they have just weren't really meshing with how Jordan Love usually plays football. I just don't think it. And I think, again, get a guy that can help him. Your key, and just what the Packers have done for decades, is get guys. They've had Donald Drivers, they're Greg Jennings, they're Jordy Nelsons. They've had so many good players back in their time that they just need to follow the fucking blueprint and get good players for Jordan Love, because that's the only way he's going to excel. You don't want him to get hurt back there. Again, their trenches, they need an edge rushers too. They're losing people. They need to protect them as much as they can so he can feed these guys the ball, and they could definitely make a difference in that division.
It's the last dance, Mike. Super Bowl. They're all leaving next year.
Yeah.
Last dance.
Not 2025, 2026.
All right, let's do some over-unders.
Okay, so we'll go with the Packers here. Let's do 8.5.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Over.
I'm gonna fade you on this
one. All right,
one.
so can I read you their schedule? Because I knew this was going to happen.
Sure.
All right. I already said I think they go 13 wins, but I'm looking at their schedule, and this season could go any which way.
Yeah,
Are you ready to
big uncertainty?
Listen to this. So home games: Vikings, Lions, Bears, Eagles, Washington, Ravens, Bengals, Panthers. Away games: Vikings, Lions, Bears, Cowboys, Giants, Cleveland, Steelers, Broncos, Cardinals. That season could go any which way, because if let's say they're
gonna have to win away games. They're not winning at home.
No,
there's no way.
No,
Maybe one game.
Washington. Washington and the Panthers.
No, the Panthers are winning. Come on,
No.
dude. Really?
I gave that one a loss for the Panthers when we did them. Hand up. I did, because
you did.
they're going to end up playing there when it's freezing cold. They can't do that. You and I just did that. We flew from the cold to the warm, or the warm to the cold. It's impossible. Today was miserable.
I met a Panthers fan in Florida, and
Really?
I was like,
What was he like?
He was just like, Bryce Young, man, just wait. And I'm like, yo. I was like, yes. Dude, he's like, I love him. Just wait on him.
It's still my pinned tweet.
Yeah. It is your pinned tweet.
It's my pinned tweet. It's been my pinned tweet for a year.
You know how nice it was to find a Panthers fan and just be like, yo, Bryce Young. I told him, I was like, Bryce Young, bro, just wait. He's like, oh, I know.
Dude, I was pissed.
I should have took a photo.
I was in my Uber, bro, and my Uber driver was saying, he's talking to me about football. His nephew is the tight end for Georgia.
Wow.
Crazy. Really nice Uber. Great guy. George, you're the best. George in Charleston, if you want a good Uber, get him. Great guy. Drives a Land Rover. I'm not going to give his whole spiel.
Ooh, damn.
Great guy.
Give him the government.
But I'm talking about football, and I go, oh, are you a Panthers fan? And he goes, nah, I don't really have an NFL team. I was like,
Damn.
I thought I got one, dude.
I
He
should have took
started
a photo. I
talking
didn't even think
them.
about it.
You should have, just so I could have it.
Yeah.
All right, who's next?
All right, so let's do let's go backwards here. So we're gonna do the Chicago Bears, and let's do 8.5. I'll give them the same line. 3, 2, 1.
Under.
Over. I'm gonna go over on them. I think this is the year they make the jump.
All right, I just keep looking at who this division's playing, and I don't know if the Bears have it in them yet. Maybe in 2 years, I don't know if they can overcome a schedule that involves these type of teams.
Listen, we talk about sophomore slumps a lot, like CJ. I'm thinking of a sophomore boom for Caleb Williams.
Okay.
I'm taking the over, and with their draft pick, I'm telling you, whoever they take is immediately going to make a difference.
All right,
All right, let's do.
what if they take a kicker? I guess immediate difference.
Lucas
Immediate
Lucas
difference.
would be calling me like, "Get me on." Lions. Let's do 10.5. I think
Okay.
that's a good number.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Under. I think they end
9.
right on 10.
I think
Yeah.
or 10. I think
Yeah.
9 or 10 is a good number. Yeah, I mean everything we said about them.
Yeah.
And then Vikings. Let's do. I feel like the line for all these are very similar.
Yes.
With JJ, let's go 7.5.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Over.
Over.
I
They
think
hit 8
I was going to say I think they get to 9.
to 9.
9 or
Okay,
10.
so they're all in the same ballpark. And again, this is exactly why the division is so tough.
The teams that they're playing, the divisions they have, it's just so volatile.
Yes.
Like
Any given day, bro.
the NFC East and the AFC North are just that is the worst pairing a division could have to play because you do not know what team the Giants could show up and drop 40 on your head.
And the Ravens
But they
can
also could
fumble.
give up 50.
And the Bengals could fumble. And
Yeah.
the Steelers could beat the shit
Cleveland-
out of you. Like,
Cleveland-
Cleveland could show up.
They hire Joe Flacco or Jameis Winston, all of a sudden they beat you by 20. It's crazy. But then it's this division is going to be nuts, but I'm riding with the Packers.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you this. When we get towards the other divisions, we have a lot to talk about, especially in the NFC East.
Yeah.
Like, especially with what the Giants did and where the Cowboys are heading and the losses by the Birds and the Commanders. Obviously, like there are a lot of that's going to be an interesting topic.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the AFCs because the Bills, like what are they going to do? They just lost a great wide receiver. You got the Jets trading away Breece Hall possibly. We'll get into that in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, a lot of craziness. Of craziness.
I did say that if there was one person that they're going to let go of, it's going to be Breece because they will bring back Garrett and they will bring back Sauce. So, what that time comes,
Time will tell.
Time will tell. So, that being said, guys, glad to have you here. Glad to have you back. We're glad to be back. Like, follow, subscribe. A lot of stuff coming your way. We'll see you guys later.